the Osmo Pocket 3 as a studio cam. We're gonna start off talking about quality here because that is the first thing that comes to mind when anybody's looking for a camera, and rightfully so. So there's no point in telling you how good or bad the camera looks. The best thing for me to do is to just show you and let you be the judge for yourself. So with that, I'm going to attempt to use as much footage as I can from the Pocket 3. All my in-studio talking head stuff right here will be from the Pocket. But before you judge the quality, I want you to check your video settings and make sure that you're watching this video in 4K. I don't want your settings to be automatically at 720 or 1080 and for you to judge the footage and be like, man, that looks like my iPhone 11. If I am using a shot that is from another camera, I'll label that down in the bottom left corner with the lower third. I'm gonna be doing this video using the OP3's creator combo that comes with a tripod stand, the extended battery handle, a wide angle lens, and the very much respected DJI Mic 2. I don't usually use the Osmo Pocket for my in-studio camera, so if you do usually use it or you have any kind of tips for people, please leave them in the comments. I'm not gonna pretend to know everything here, and we're a community here to help each other out. So with that, let's talk about the setup. One of the biggest pros about this camera is the quick and easy setup. I love my mirrorless cameras and I use them for all my in-studio recording, but they are an absolute pain to set up and make sure they've got the right framing and their level and just all the things that go into setting up a studio shot. For this camera, it's way faster and way easier. It'll always be level due to the gimbal, and you don't have to go back and forth from your seat to your camera to change your framing. You can do that remote through the DJI Mimo app. With its lightweight, you can get away with using a super cheap tripod. Just make sure it's stable. Now, if you're doing a talking head at your desk, of course, you don't even have to worry about a full-blown tripod. You can just put the little stand on the bottom, plop that thing down there, and go ahead and get to yapping. So next, let's talk about power. It's estimated to be good for about 2 hours of 4K 60 frames per second. So I'm not exactly sure where that lies in shooting in a talking head video like 24 or 30 frames. I assume it saves you a little bit of battery. But I'd say for most people, if you're recording a YouTube video, 2 hours is definitely enough. Now, this varies from person to person depending on if you're just shooting a YouTube video or if you're planning to use this for a full-blown podcast. So I would usually say it's best to leave it plugged in while you record for an extended amount of time. But the thing is, that brings up the possibility of overheating if you're recording for an extended period of hours upon hours. And so throughout looking through the internet, I saw it's hit or miss for most people, but I did find a Reddit thread that I will link in the description. I'll link a couple Reddit threads in the description to where people have talked about their experiences, and the big scare here is people have talked about when their camera shuts down due to overheating, they have completely lost the file that was recording, and that's scary. You do also have an extended battery handle that comes in the combo, and it's said to extend the battery life around 60%, so that's an option. But let's say you are cool with leaving it on the charger while you record. The problem that brings up is it only has one USB-C port, right? So if you want to plug in an external mic into it, you're pretty much out of luck. Or are you? So let's talk about audio. So we've got a few options here with a few different price ranges, and I'm gonna save my personal recommendation for the very end, but I feel it's good to know all of your options so you can explore them freely. And the first is recording off the internal microphone in the Osmo Pocket, and please don't do that. Please don't do that. I mean, if you gotta do what you gotta do, man, you gotta do what you gotta do. But if you're putting something out that is mainly focused on the things that you're saying and people hearing your voice, you need to make some kind of effort to have better audio, whether you're recording on your phone, the Pocket 3, a camera, whatever it may be, because it's so audio based for you. And something good to remember is people will put up with visuals that aren't the greatest if what you're saying, the quality of the sound and the substance of what you're talking about is good, but people won't put up with bad audio because that's literally like physically uncomfortable. So as I'm sitting here editing this video, I think to myself, you know what? I can't just tell them about the mic. I gotta show them. So it's only right I show you guys what the internal mic sounds like. Now, granted, this is a pretty sound controlled room, soundproofish. So, you know, it's a pretty good place to record audio, which this doesn't sound awful. It doesn't sound awful. But when you're recording off an internal mic, it's going to be capturing all the sound that's around it. It's not just focused and centered on your voice like it would if you were using a microphone. So if you think this sounds good enough, man, hey, all power to you, man. You know, shut up, RJ, you know, but go do your thing. So it's only right I had to show you guys what it sounds like. Now I'm just here yapping. So yeah, I'll holler at you. So it's not solely that the internal mic on the Osmo Pocket is terrible. It's just more so you need to put effort into having good quality audio. Another option is buying your own podcast type microphone. There's a lot of great ones out there, but the thing is there is a limitless amount, and that's not really the focus of this video. So you're going to need to research that on your own, but you're going to have to make sure either A, it is compatible with the Osmo Pocket. You can plug it in via USB-C, but on the back side, if it's powered by plugging it into your Osmo Pocket, then that's going to drain the battery of the Pocket as well, thus draining your recording time on top of that. Or B, if you're going to record it separately, you have some kind of audio interface. You need somewhere to store those files, right? And you're going to have to edit that separately from your video. You're going to need to sync your audio and video together. Now, let's talk about what I actually recommend, and that's using the DJI Mic 2 that comes in the creator combo. Even aside from the points I'm about to make, it just makes sense to keep a portable, versatile, reliable mic that was created to work with your Osmo Pocket. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the brick on the neck method. I feel like it's way too distracting and borderline damaging for your shirt collar, but there's a couple better ways I've found to put this into action. Now, I've mentioned before in videos that I honestly don't use a full-blown official podcast microphone in studio myself. This right here is actually an adapter that'll turn your wireless Bluetooth microphone, whatever the brand may be, into a house microphone. You can find them on Amazon for like 15-20 bucks, and if you want a different stand, you can find those options online too. I'll put my personal setup in the description. Now, if you're not into the whole visible microphone thing, you can also use a lav mic that'll plug into your DJI Mic 2 and run it up through your clothes. One of the biggest problems about using your OP3 as your studio cam is that, of course, the screen is extremely small. So the best way to keep track of all that and get the best look at your footage is to use the DJI Mimo app as an external monitor. Now, there is a lot more to this app than I initially thought, so I made an entire video on some of the perks, and you should definitely go check that out after this video. Not gonna go through all those things here, but my main point is you can get a better look at your image and make sure everything's good to go. You can move the camera remotely if you need to fix your spacing, and also change your settings as you need to. All right, so mom left us with baby, and baby will not be quiet without me holding her right now, but I gotta record this video, so she's just gonna chill with us through the rest of it, all right? Little cameo for us. But something that I really wanna mention that is really important, not a deal breaker, but you know, it's really important to know, is that when the camera gets to 16 gigabytes of recording, it's going to split that recording into another video. So it's not going to be any gaps in between. When you put them in your timeline, there's no gaps. It's going to flow straight through. But I do feel that is really, really important to mention. That might have a bigger effect on you depending on how you're editing your videos. I know I edit at my Mac Studio and I edit in Final Cut Pro. So I just put all the videos into my timeline. And so I either make them into a compound clip and then synchronize the clips with the audio, or you can export the entire thing into one long video and then sync them with the full audio file. Another really important thing I found to talk about is your focus modes. It comes with 3 of them: single, continuous, and product showcase. And I found where I'm out and about and I kind of just like to keep it in continuous. If I'm moving or, you know, doing something outside, that's fine. But when I'm inside and I try and shoot on continuous, it has like an extreme amount of focus breathing that once again completely makes the video unusable, right? So I like to use single, which is kind of the closest thing to focus lock. Or if you're doing a product review and you're going to be putting things up close to the camera, you can use the product showcase mode, which is really cool because it'll focus on whatever is closest to the camera, and as soon as you pull it back, it'll focus right back on you. Now, aside from a studio talking head video like this, there is a million cases for this camera. You can use it for B-roll, you can use it for showing off products, you can use it as a really versatile overhead cam if you're cooking or want to show off an unboxing. A lot of uses. So I highly recommend you check out my playlist about the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I've made a whole lot of videos on it, and if specifically you would love to learn how to get more creative with this camera, I'll link that video right here. So appreciate you guys for checking it out. Like, comment, subscribe, all that, and I'll holla at you.